Franz Wagner is rewriting the narrative. Once viewed as a solid complementary player, he's immediately stepped into the spotlight once Paolo Banchero got hurt, proving that he's capable of leading the Orlando Magic to success, or at the very least, being able to keep the ship afloat while their star in Paolo Banchero has been gone. The Magic have won 12 of their last 14 since Paolo got hurt, and Franz Wagner has quickly shown that he's not just a rising star, but a bona fide superstar in the making. Now, before we hop into the video and break down why and the various ways of how he's gotten better, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer, as always, thank you for returning. Drop below who you think will be the most improved candidate by the end of the year, and let's hop into the video. Okay, so let's be honest, there were plenty of questions last year surrounding Franz Wagner heading into this season. His playoff debut last year was underwhelming to say the least. The physicality and intensity, it seemed to disrupt his rhythm as a whole, leading many to wonder, including myself, if he could ever truly rise to stardom. But this year, especially with Paolo out, he's erased all of those doubts. This season, Franz Wagner is averaging 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, while shooting 51% from the field and just under 40% from deep, and his true shooting percentage is 61%, which places him among the league's most efficient scorers. But it's not just about the numbers, it's how he's getting these numbers. Franz is doing an excellent job in isolation, executing pick and rolls, and finishing through contact, something that he wasn't really doing very well during the playoffs last year. Let's take this clip against the Hornets, for example. Franz gets the high screen from his brother Mo Wagner. If you could really call it a screen, it was more of a slip. He snakes the defense, uses his patience, and is still able to get to the rim and finish over the defense. We can take another play against the Hornets, which is one of my favorite plays from him thus far in the season because it's something I did a lot when I played basketball myself. He takes the screen from his older brother Mo Wagner once again, and he immediately recognizes that Cody Martin goes under the screen, giving him way too much space, and he's able to hit a deep three. While I love Franz Wagner's pick and roll game, that's not the only place that he's excelled this year. His ISO work has been immaculate this year. We could take a play against the Clippers where he got Chris Dunn switched on him, immediately recognized he had the smaller defender on him. He hits him with a quick hezzy, looking like he's about to shoot a three, which kind of gets Chris Dunn a little bit stuck, allowing Franz Wagner the opportunity to drive past him. And once he does, he still recognized that Harden is down there. You got Zubac on the wing guarding KCP, and it's an easy finish over the two smaller defenders. Let's take another play against the Hornets in Orlando where Franz Wagner gets an inbound pass, immediately recognizes that Cody Martin switches off of him, seeing that he has the big on him, makes a quick move, snatch back for space, and hits the nice midi jumper. Franz has added layers to his offensive arsenal. His ability to break defenders down in isolation, run the pick and roll as both a scorer and facilitator, and finish through contact has made him nearly unguardable. He's no longer just a catch and shoot wing, he's one of the engines of the Magic's offense. With regard to his patience, we could take a clip from that same Clippers game where he hit that midi. He gets a screen and roll from Goga Bitadze, and he immediately sees that the two players that were in that two-man situation, they had all eyes on Franz, which allowed him to throw a quick lob to Goga Bitadze. Now, what makes a play like this special is the fact that earlier in the game, in fact, on the Magic's first possession, he had a high screen and roll with Goga Bitadze, and Taj Gibson did a great job of showing while being able to cover the roller, and it forced Franz Wagner to pick up his dribble, yet he stayed patient, pivoted, and shot a quick turnaround jumper to get the Magic their first 2 points on the board. Obviously, with Paolo getting hurt, he becomes the main engine of this offense, but even still without the ball, he's able to provide buckets for the team. In the game against the Chicago Bulls, you can see him work off a screen from Goga, comes up to set a screen for Anthony Black, who cuts off of him into the lane. And instead of the ball going to Anthony Black, it's really a play setup for Franz Wagner to cut off of that screen, get open, and get an easy layup at the rim. When Paolo Banchero went down with an injury, the Magic's fate could have taken a turn for the worse, and in fact, I thought it would. Instead, they went on an 11-1 run with Franz Wagner leading the charge. His scoring jumped to 26.8 points per game during this stretch, but more importantly, he's been the team's vocal leader in a role his brother Mo Wagner says has always been in his DNA. Now, whether it's his ability to read defenses and create high percentage looks, or his knack for making timely plays in crunch time, Franz has shown that he can elevate not just his game, but also his teammates, which is the hallmark of a superstar. Even further, what separates Franz from other 6'10" players that are excellent offensive guys, he is excellent on the defensive end and has defensive versatility out of this world. Standing at 6'10", he has excellent lateral quickness, and he can guard multiple positions, seemingly switching onto smaller guards and contesting shots at the rim. Currently, he's averaging 1.1 steals per game and just under 1 block per game, but his impact goes beyond the box score. Currently, his defensive metrics rank him in the 90th percentile for points allowed per possession, and he's also in the 85th percentile in opponent field goal percentage at the rim when he's the one being the anchor. Franz's ability to anchor both ends of the floor, it's quickly making him one of the most complete players in the league and fast-tracking the Magic's rebuild, even with Paolo gone, because we know Paolo is going to come back and be the superstar that he already showed us in the beginning of the season. I think the Magic can genuinely make some noise in the East so long as they stay on this track, and especially with Paolo coming back in the next coming weeks, it's gonna get really scary, especially if the team around them can figure it out. Now, if we put it into perspective, Franz Wagner is currently averaging more points than Zion Williamson, Jimmy Butler, and Scottie Barnes, while doing so on greater efficiency. He's also one of just 5 players this season averaging at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, joining names like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. And even still, this isn't just a player putting up empty stats, because as I said, during this run, they've won 12 of their last 14, their most recent being a loss to the Knicks, but they are still a legitimate force in the Eastern Conference, and Franz Wagner is a big reason why, because he's helped them stay afloat while their true star has been down. Now, I can admit, Franz Wagner, he's not at all your traditional superstar. He doesn't dominate headlines or even dazzle with flashy highlights, but he has the ability and has done everything for the Magic, from scoring to facilitating to defending and even leading, which is an intangible trait that not many can see, but when you see it, you recognize it. This in fact makes him one of the more complete players in the NBA. He's not just redefining what being a star is or a second option in this case, he's proving that substance matters more than flash. Now, I can say I was on the Franz Wagner train way before now. I got off of it last year, and even so, he's turned me back around to be on the path again, and I'm sure he's turned countless others into believers. Obviously, the downs aren't completely gone because a lot of his issues came in the playoffs, so there is time to see how he kind of matures a little bit and can handle that in this coming playoffs. But with that said, you have to have admiration for a player who's exceeded every expectation this year. If you weren't paying attention to Franz Wagner and the Orlando Magic before, now is the time. I did make a video on the Magic as a whole before last year, but I think this team is starting to get to that point where they're ready to win now. And it's not just the future of the Magic, he's also part of the future of the NBA, being a star next to Paolo Banchero and helping the Magic see that star power once again that they had in the 90s. And yes, I do know they had star power in 2010 with Dwight Howard, but this feels a lot different. This feels like a group of guys that want to stay in Orlando and are willing to be in Orlando for the long haul and see the Orlando Magic have success once again. Now, I know I've sprinkled in that superstar word a little bit in this video, but I do think, and I am comfortable with saying, Franz Wagner is a star to this point. I don't think he'll quite reach that superstar level. But with that said, I want to see what you think. What do you think about Franz Wagner and the Orlando Magic? Do you believe this fast start is something that will slow down in the coming future? Or do you think when Paolo Banchero comes back, They're going to keep the ship afloat and even excelling into heights that we never thought before. Let me know in the comments down below, and if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely, and I appreciate you guys as always. Of course, it's your boy TB with the greatest soup stories and debates on the tube, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.